Not among the gray Corolla mass, these sedans look like exotic. Ceres is nothing more than the name in Latin of the ancient Roman goddess Ceres. As a rule, they cost a little more than base cars. But this is taking into account the fact that frankly empty configurations, similar to the DX for Corolla/Sprinter, were not offered. In the base configuration F Series/Merino already had air conditioning, central locking, a 4-stage automatic. The founders of the family also had a 3-stage and electric windows mirrors. All the lower-level differences came down to climate control on sliders, 13-inch wheels, and the absence of a front stabilizer. Yes, Toyota used to save money in this way, up to the E-Class. So let's forgive this car, which was supposed to conquer the client not at all with handling, but with style. However, the models, in addition to the 1.5 and 1.6-liter 5A and 4A, still relied on the 20-valve 4.8 GE with a return of 160 forces. The kit came with rear disc brakes and a spacer between the cups of the front struts. Cabin equipment was also tied to the motors. With the usual 1.6L Equipment X, there was already a push-button climate, which included the auto mode. For cars with G, the seats and doors had Velour upholstery. The steering wheel was 3-spoke. In addition, within the framework of 2 packages, Extra Package and Sport Selection, 3 fixed configurations could be supplemented with options: rear wiper, sunroof, spoiler, leather braid on the steering wheel and gear lever, antenna in the bumper, electric driver's seat, finally, more quality music system. At a time when electronic assistance and other multimedia did not even loom on the horizon and on the C-Class, such a simple toolkit looked rich. Well, traditionally for Japanese manufacturers, Toyota released limited versions, as usual, differing only in color. In this case, it was black metallic, which is why such Ceres and Merino always had the black prefix in the catalogs of that time. But 4-wheel drive and diesel, unlike the Corolla/Sprinter, did not rely on their elegant reincarnations. In 1994, along with the entire family, cars received ABS and an airbag for the driver. The same year saw the only restyling. Of course, he did not bring any revelations. Ceres/Merino left all body panels unchanged, changing only the bumpers and lighting equipment, the latter exclusively in the internal segments. In particular, the characteristic stripes in the lanterns have disappeared from the Merino. But hardtops continued to be released until mid-1998. There is information that Ceres, even until the end of 1999. Apparently, in some small quantities, in the sale of copies of the last 3 years of production, there are literally a few. Reduced circulation compared to single-platform models, relative affordability and, to a large extent, a peculiar interpretation of the car's image, sporty after all, and therefore they took it to drive, had a great effect on the Ceres/Merino population. Already in the early 2000s, most cars went through a body rebuild of varying degrees of complexity. An acquaintance a few years ago for the sake of Marinka, remember youth, traveled 2,000 kilometers, but was disappointed in what he saw. What to say about the situation now? The once elegant top sedans seem to be passed through a meat grinder, whose name is Russian exploitation. The main revelation is behind. The sofa cushion is molded for 2. He will take the 3rd, but he is unlikely to be happy with such hospitality. And this only emphasizes the target orientation of the twins, who were not oriented towards passenger and cargo transportation. They didn't even bother to lower the trunk lid, following the example of the Corolla/Sprinter, to the bumper. It's a paradox, since then, almost every motor has acquired a phase shifter on at least one shaft, individual ignition coils and other attributes that increase work efficiency. At the same time, subjectively, 4A FE is no worse than its descendants. And no one needs to prove that he is more resourceful. When NZ and ZR massively go to the sleeve, we will still wear these ancient 4s. Transmission. To match him, a mechanical box. The cover of the lever is worn out. A certain viscosity is felt in the members of its drive. The transmissions themselves are stuck in unmistakably and easily. Suspension. And what can you expect from a quarter-century-old pendant? From McPherson front and rear? The Corolla never had the forgiving energy intensity of the Impreza. But, you know, on city roads with asphalt washed away by spring floods, Ceres, with its seemingly unreliable suspension, swallows almost all the bumps quite well. Of course, it will not lull, like Mark and even more so Crown. Yes, only now crossovers have the same type of chassis and, Alas, they drive even harder.